this is definitely gonna mess up my eyes, so I'll make it quick. Here's some of the proof that I went to the doctor again, and he gave me all kinds of different medicines for my eyes. I'm suffering from photophobia. It hasn't gone away in months. I've purchased all kinds of video game glasses to reduce the blue light. I struggle more with the blue light, and I'm already getting a little bit of a headache because of this video, so you'll have to bear with me. I want you to notice that these are the European depictions of Haru. Okay, this one has his eyes are black. Why is that? Okay, these are later on. These are European kind of images, figurines. Here's Sekhmet. She has 2 of these weapons. I've gone over this before in my videos. Okay, here are European depictions of Haru. Okay, they call him Horus. Okay, face us, Horus. Right, it's right there in the name. Face us, face as, face is, face us. Okay, martial arts combat. They depict him as a warrior. The Ankh kind of fell off. That's the Ankh. I don't worship these idols. You see the snake on the double crown. He doesn't necessarily have a snake on the double crown. Here is the depiction of Ra. Now remember Elephantine Island. Okay, this is Ra. And here is an elephant, a leopard. They're both looking to the left when I bought them from the site. They were like the only ones available, I believe, on Amazon or something. Okay, now let me go to the early depictions of Haru, and let's start seeing some of these differences. Here's Haru on the Narmer palette. Look carefully, you'll see the guy in the back, pause it if you must. He's holding the sandals and wearing the black belt. Okay, the Narmer palette, right? And I don't know how well you can see it because the light is dimmed and I can't really see it with the glasses and the dim light on the phone. Basically, the guy in the background here, right here, he is holding a black belt in his sandals, and he kind of has a Japanese look. But when a black man looks to the side, he's mixed. He kind of, I kind of have that look to me too. The Narmer, the tall guy, he's taller than his opponent. Those are kind of Semitic-looking guys. Some of them are at his feet. Those reeds represent, I forgot what they represent. I'm going through this quickly. It's basically a falcon, or a hawk rather, opening the breathing, and Eku Meku, breathing dispersal Igbo secret society. Okay, and I believe it reads, let me read it from here. Let me refresh my memory. Okay, the 6 delta plants, excuse me, each symbolic of 1,000 lower Egyptian captives. I thought it was something like that. Anyway, so then there is also, might have to do this video again. 1422, bear with me, apologize. I'm already going over time. Here is the other one. Notice this is from Jet, okay? The first dynasty. Notice there are no snake depiction. The snake is under the feet. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that the snake is a symbol of Buto and other serpent deities. Set as a serpent, Apep is a serpent, that this is some kind of a serpent Khan. Of course, this is a European body type, as opposed to Shaka Zulu in the movie, for example, the tall, skinny, and Narmer on the Narmer palette that I showed you earlier, the tall, skinny figure. Figure it out. Remember, one of their tales I've gone over in the videos before this, hopefully if I uploaded them in order, is that Haru is born on the, or he lands in the island of Chemis in the marshes in the Nile Delta, and as a result, Chemis is the god of chemistry, and the thunderbolts, the Nazi thunderbolts, the falcon, the fall for the Khan, the full Khan's whore, coming down from the northern perspective, okay, when really it was a hawk deity of a war god of people who came up from the south, and no one disputes that. They dispute when the hawk deity originally came into being, and they try to reverse things around, at least at that point in history, in that book. And certainly there are Eurocentric people that fabricate evidence. Last I checked in the news, they said the Middle Egyptians and the the lower Egyptians, which are in the north, basically have European and Semitic DNA. Okay, so again, this hurts my eyes. I'm gonna have to do this quickly. I'm gonna have a headache later, most likely. This is what's going on. basically they're twisting the mysteries and the mythologies to favor their people. They're removing the martial arts perspective, even though they have martial arts weaponry in their own European-styled statues. They hit for my challenge. I have 15 hits from Deontay Wilder's boxing range in 1.2 to 1.4 seconds with sparring gloves on, lightning sparring gloves on, blue extra large karate sparring gloves on. And of course, they don't have African sparring gear. It doesn't exist. They don't have African martial arts. The capoeira is in Brazilian martial arts, right? Capoeira, cap aware, keep aware. And the different wordplay, the A-E-I-O-U. The E is not in the alphabet, the grading system, A, B, C, D, F. Just like the 13th floor isn't there. And it's for occult reasons. Okay, I'm sure about the vast majority of what I tell you. I'm sure about the martial arts perspective. I am not racist. There's a lot of good white people. This is about the spirit and not the flesh. I believe I have a right to get my videos out. There's a lot of people who are controlled opposition who present alternative narratives of Egyptian mythology and Egyptian history. My narrative is the most correct I've ever come across, and I think that there are feminists and LGBT justifications for their fake narratives. For example, a pharaoh embracing Ptah in a certain way where you can look in each other's eyes. They say it is a homosexual embrace. That's not the case. They twist things all throughout history. There are different groups of Egyptians, the Berbers in the Berber district in the Middle Kingdom, for instance, the first intermediate period when we see the African martial arts perspective starting to fall out of favor, and eventually it will be replaced with the Khan's Hor and the other later perspectives. You know, Har-Wer as I believe a sky deity, and Horus, his eyes, he was a war god, a war deity. His eyes were the sun and the moon, the right eye being the moon, etc. Okay, Tot meaning a moon god. He teaches, and he also protects the solar bark as it journeys through the underworld in the night hours. All right, so of course the night owl at the Bohemian Grove, Baal, and Molech. I've gone over these in my other videos. You need to really pay attention, okay? The leopard, a longing, a long cat. Is he a big cat? Or a tall cat? He's a long cat. Be long, Ba of the long, okay? Belong as the pharaoh. Now, I'm not saying other people are inferior or other body types. They chose to follow suit with their ancestors' perspective. Osiris, Serapis, Serpent versus Repent. I've gone over this before. Captain America, Steve Rogers. Staves of Ra, Staves Ra, ours, versus the Black Panther, which is basically the leopard who didn't remove his spots. He let his spots overcome him with anger instead of the vengeance of the graceful hawk deity, which represents the grace of the heavens that sits on top of the mountain, right? Does the snake belong on the top of the pyramid when it comes to a peak, right? Or can a hawk with his legs down on either side and on the top of the pyramid? So no matter how you slice it, I am correct, and it is immoral and wrong to pretend that I'm wrong. It is immoral and wrong to pretend that I haven't proven my point a million times over with these books, you know, fighting for honor. Okay, I'll end by saying this, you know, this is how bad it is. Fighting for honor, the rising sun on the Biafran flag, okay? There was a country, Chinua Achebe, all the great Igbo and Nigerian academics. You look into that, you'll see my point proven clearly, the Igbo leopards. And let me read this excerpt and end it here. This also shows you, you know, the figures of the Europeans and what weapons they do and don't have, what animals they do and don't use. Make it clear to you who did what and why. Okay, so introduction by Joseph Campbell. Whether we listen with aloof amusement to the drama with like mumble jumble of some red-eyed witch doctor of the Congo, or read with cultivated rapture thin translations from the sonnets of the mystic Lao Tzu, now and again crack the hard nutshell of an argument of Aquinas, or catch suddenly the shining meaning of a bizarre Eskimo fairy tale. You can see how they are getting at black people, right? With aloof amusement to the drama like mumbo jumbo of some red-eyed witch doctor of the Congo, red being the color of the principle of evil, right? So they play Africans out as evil, you know, and they say that, you know, and this is this is the introduction, right? This is the introduction by Joseph Campbell, who is a key figure in the New Age movement. They are racist. They are Eurocentrics. I'm half white, half black, and I have far more honor than they do. Shame on them. Shame on them. Okay, they should be ashamed of themselves. I'm fighting for honor. I'm the top martial artist in American history. No one has done what I've done. No one had them hiding like sniveling bitches from the spirit of God, or Ra refined through a Christian perspective to understand God's characteristics. Is Ra-El. Ra is starting to describe God, Elohim, okay, our image. Let him create them in our image, the spirits above and the image below, and your Ka being removed and cast out like Satan for doing the wrong thing in relation to what goes on in earth. Okay. So they have utterly disgraced themselves, and it is wrong for them to do this. You'll see them with the spear, right? Holy Spirit, spar it. You know, spare it, spar it. Okay, Jesus came to bring a sword. Peter cut off someone's ear with a sword. He said, enough of that. If you live by the sword to teach a lesson with the sword, you're wrong. But if you rise up with the Spirit of God, like in the Old Testament that Jesus fulfills, then you are right. The avenger with divine justification versus some fat Serapis cow, some bully, some bull-y, that bullshit that we don't like. We don't like the bullshit. We want the truth. We don't like you insulting people, you know, unfairly and unreasonably, because you cannot accept the fact that black people are the best martial artists, generally speaking. We're not stupid. We understand the relevance of agility and dexterity. Michael Jordan, you know, Ken Griffey Jr. We understand that there's a reproduction process going on, and we understand eugenics, social Darwinism, scientific racism, and biodemography. We understand that you are scientific Satanists and scientific racists, and you're wrong. And many whites don't appreciate it either, but they're scared of what will happen to them if they're left out in the cold, as you did white people. Listen carefully, all throughout history. White people didn't magically come to this state. They have been screening out their own for despicable, unforgivable reasons all throughout history, raping and torturing people who presented an alternative narrative of Christianity all throughout European history. That's why some of these people came to this country. And now, once again, and I believe it's been going on all along, the scientists and their traitor allies, their occult, sick allies, are violating and defiling good women. They're coercing people, and I am a man of honor. And it disturbs me very much. You know, and I want to yell and scream, but they'll take me back to the psych ward for my righteous indignation. That is unacceptable. I will not sit idly by while you do it. You have my word on that. I will fight for honor in one form or fashion until I am dead. You will not violate women and children with your sorcery and all this stuff uncontested. As long as I breathe, I will resist you. And in the spirit world, I will continue to resist you. I will be that obstacle for you, for not giving me my obeisance so I can set the world straight on top of everything else. Okay, the obverse, the principal design was righteousness. We stood erect and stood tall from being monkeys and animal and primates and something of that nature, right? The missing link from standing tall, created from the dust, evolved from the dust, using the Spirit of God, not sorcery. And this is unacceptable. And I'm not fucking playing!